Hello everybody, good afternoon, how are we today? This is the second installment of lesson 4. So if you're joining us now, thank you very much. If you weren't able to join us 5 hours ago, seems like an awful lot more than that. And guess who's still here? You guessed it, Estrella. Don't worry, I have taken her out. We went out for a stroll, but she's here. And she seems pretty delighted to be here. And I'm delighted to be here too. And delighted to have you all here as well. So, what's the story? This is Renewable English. We are talking about cultivating changemakers today. We're talking lesson 4, as you will have seen in the intro. Lesson 4, which is the art of changemaking. You're here. You're here at YouTube, so why not? Give us a subscribe to us, press the bell, and then you will know whenever we are coming at you through your computers or your phones or your TVs or your tablets or however you want to have us there. And then, of course, you are more than welcome to donate at any point if you want. No pressure. So we are talking about art and the art of change making. There's art all around me here. You know, you can see the quilt on the wall, the klimt on the bed, the awesome flag from Absolutely Flagulous right there, still going strong, keeping me company. Hi there, Amelia. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for joining us. So I'm going to switch over and see our quote of the week this week. And this quote from Dimitri Martin, a comedian from the States. The earth without art is just eh. Now, obviously, this was meant as part of his comedy routine. There is a hilarious bit of wordplay there. When you take art out of earth, it goes eh. But it has a whole lot more to it than that. Because art is a lot more than just a painting or two. Art is what makes life worth living. There are so many things in life that are just wonderful and exciting and joyous to see and joyous to be a part of. And a lot of that is thanks to art. Now, art is different for everybody. Art's different for me as it would be for you. Hi there, Joanna. Lovely to see you. My opinion of art, I'm sure, would be different to your opinion of art. I'm certain it would be different to Estrella's opinion of art. What do you think art is, Estrella? I thought so. She completely agrees with me. So art is subjective, but what is art? How would you define art? How would you define art? I've come up with 3 different descriptions. Now, not one of them is right and not one of them is wrong. They're all just different ideas of what art really is. So I'll let you have a read of them and see if you agree, maybe you disagree. Maybe you have your own definition of art. So let's have a look at what the 3 definitions are. The first one, art is a medium through which artists challenge conventions and explore new perspectives. The next one, art is the aesthetic communication of ideas, emotions, and experiences. And the third one, art is the creative expression of human imagination and skill. Now, I think each of these is a valid description of art, is a valid definition of art. But what do you think? How would you define art? Of course, you can use the worksheet and you can fill in the worksheet and write what you think on there. If you want any more information about it as well, you can check us out on Insta. Hop on over there, because we're about to look at some art very shortly that if you do follow on Insta, it will be very, very easy for you. Or, of course, if you follow on Facebook as well. I'll plop that in the chat now as well. So if you do follow us on any of these, it's going to make the next section rather easy, because we're looking at these different works of art. So we have 4 different works of art here. All types of art, all of these works of art are protest art. They are all protesting something. I'll put the artists who are still with us, so Isaac Cordal and Elijah Mackenzie. I'll put their Instagrams into the chat as well, so you can check them out. I really recommend both of them, especially like the Isaac Cordal stuff is, it's mind-blowing. I'm lucky I'm wearing my hat, because when I looked at it, it was incredible and sad, but also realistic, and sums up a lot of things in many different ways. So, when do we think these paintings were painted? We'll talk more about why they were painted soon, but when do we think that these paintings, or these works of art rather, because they're not all paintings, when do we think they were created? What's your guess? Which one do you think was created in 1937? Hop on into the chat. Let me know what you think. In the meantime, I'm going to ensure my beard is in the proper condition. So if we look at it as starting from the top, number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Sorry, it feels totally wrong because it feels like my hand should be on that side, but it's actually not on that side. So which do you think was created in 1937? What do you think? Which one could it be? Any art students will know this one. This one is probably the most famous of the 4 different images. So I'm going to jump on over there, and I'm going to grab it. Oh, so not 1989. I wanted to be 1937, didn't we? That was that one there. And we're going to move it. We're going to move it slowly. Oh, there's a guess from War Tank. I nearly said Vartank there. I don't know. I was thinking in Spanish. It is this one here. 1937. Very good, Amelia. Excellent. It is the 3rd one indeed. It's the 3rd one down there. And this was painted by Pablo Picasso, and it's called the Guernica, named after the town that was being painted. And this is now one of the most famous types of works of protest art in the entire world. So what do you think about 1989? 1989. Not the album from Taylor Swift, I believe. Taylor Swift had an album, 1989? Yes, she did. So what do we think was 1989? Here we go. We're saying, let's grab it there. We're going to push it over there. Let's see. There we go. 1989. It could have been the second one. The second one's not very obvious what it is. This one was Keith Haring. It was 1989. You know, we can see the reason why it was 1989. There's a big moment on there. It mentions what it's about. So now the last 2 are very difficult. How can we guess which one is which? Which one is by Isaac Cordal and which one is by Elijah Mackenzie Jackson? Now, the Isaac Cordal was 2011 and Elijah Mackenzie Jackson was 2023. So which one do you think? What do you reckon? So let's say 2011, as we're going in chronological order. chronological order is the order of the dates. So we started with the earliest, 1937, which was the Picasso, the Guernica. And then we went to the Ignorance Equals Fear, Silence Equals Death from 1989 from Keith Haring. So which one could be 2011? That's the big question. There's only two options left. I'll slowly start to move it over. Nobody knows. It could be anything. Stop whispering, Harry. People can't hear that. Here we go. This one was 2011, and it's talk about sea levels rising. It's part of a group called Follow the Leaders. Now, I've put his Instagram in there. Do go and check out Isaac Cordal. It's absolutely mind-blowing, the stuff. And it's all tiny little figurines made out of clay. And they live on the floor. And there are so many different ones. There's one called Waiting for Climate Change that he's put at a beach, where it's some politicians standing on a stick with a rubber ring around, just looking aimlessly out into the distance. So therefore, I think we all know, we could all figure this one out. 1923 is by Elijah Mackenzie Jackson. And they're all different types of protest art. Only one of them is protesting the climate. Only one of them is protesting climate change. But they are all ways of having your voice heard. So the big question now, as we move on to the next page, the next part, is who was protesting what? Who was protesting what? I think some of them are quite easy. I mean, Follow the Leader. I wonder which one Follow the Leader could be. And their lack of dialogue is a clue with the name as well. So let's start. Which do we think political inactivity? Which one is protesting political inactivity? What do you think? What could it be? Political inactivity. I'm so bad at singing. I do apologise. The first one, it is a lack of activity. You're absolutely right, but it wasn't in terms of political necessarily. The first one is definitely not enough activity, not enough message sharing. This one is particularly about leaders who are, just talking about one thing and doing something completely different. It is it's the last one by Isaac Cordal. He does a lot of art about politicians, about mobile phones and the damage that mobile phones are doing. Yes, mobile phones can be awesome, but he does also show others as well. So other things, so not so great things about mobile phones, because there are not great things as well. So which one is war? Which one is war? And it's protesting the Spanish Civil War, which was in 1936. So, and it was actually talking about the fact that Franco allowed Hitler to go and flatten, to raise a city to the ground. Julita, very good. It is the Guernica. Fantastic. Well done, War Tank. And if you are ever in Madrid, you can see this at the Reina Sofia Museum. It is an impressive piece of art, and it is very gory, and it is now absolutely renowned as a piece of protest art to protest the war and just the horrible abuse that was allowed just because they felt like it. So, religious colonialism. There's two left. I think this one could be guessed by the shapes. Which one is colonialism? Do. This is such a great way of filling time between answers. Great job, War Tank. It is indeed. Oh, I see your name is in here. Right there. It is the third one. It's all about people going into indigenous going to indigenous peoples in the Amazon rainforest and enforcing religion upon them, and making them choose their religion over their previous religion. It's and the damage that has done to the Amazon. So, and indigenous peoples the world over. And the last one here is inaction and a lack of dialogue. So it's all about the fact that things were not being talked about while there was in the AIDS crisis in the late 80s. It was just being ignored. And just a year or so after this, the artist actually died of AIDS. So it was a way of trying to raise people's awareness and make sure people knew about the dangers of AIDS and make people wake up and speak up. Because if we don't speak about things, things won't change. You know, if we just ignore it, it won't change. It's the same with climate change. It's the same with LGBTQI plus issues. If we stay silent, nothing's going to change. So we must continue to speak up. Look at the images in New York yesterday, which came from the wildfires in Canada. And also take a look at these. The Kakhovka hydroelectric power plant, which on the 6th of June was destroyed by Russians, which has left 160,000 people without homes. There's so much danger of flooding. And this is the power of art. That the next day, these images can appear on the internet and raise people's awareness. This is not something I knew enough about because mainstream media just seemed to flash on past it. You know, it looked at it and it moved straight on. Whereas social media was able to keep us aware of the ecocide that is happening. So we see a lot of animals here. There were lots of images of people's houses being completely flooded and pets being chained up still in the garden. So that's the image of the fourth image. There was a zoo in the area that was completely flooded. So they've destroyed animals and homes, and this is ecocide. This is deliberate action to damage not only people but also the planet. So we need to continue with this protest art because I already don't know enough about this. I've had to read up more about this, but these are the ways to start conversations. These are the way to help people understand what is happening, and then we can see what we can do about it. Don't be silent about this. Continue and share these images. Think about your sphere of influence. No, we can't just stop Putin directly on our own, but we can share these images with people around us to put pressure on our governments to do something about this horrible ecocide and these awful acts that are being committed on a daily basis. So I only became aware of this the other day. So this is something that's very raw and very new, but you can see the power of art and how quickly it can come to pass. Now I'm going to jump over now to our kind of focal topic. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen on our YouTube channel or if you've seen on our Instagram page, which I do have here for you. Of course, if you're looking at YouTube, if you're on YouTube now, then you know our YouTube channel. But we do have a new post about how to write a webcomic. So we're going to look at some webcomics, and we're going to look at, this one is a positive webcomic. It's raising awareness of different types of energy. Welcome to the Energy Club. The first rule of Energy Club, don't talk about Energy Club. For those who have seen Fight Club, that will make a lot of sense. Now, of course, this is talking about other green sources of energy and how welcome they are in the world. So it has a positive spin on it. It has a positive look, and it uses comedy to do that. This is fictionalized, and we'll look at that very shortly. When we look at our interviews with Paul Goodenough. Oh my gosh, he is brilliant. So this looks at this, and it does also make you think, how can we make sure our governments are investing in this and no longer digging for new oil? I know that the Labour Party in the UK have promised to not dig for more oil. The only party that haven't are the party in power. But I am not allowed to say the things I would like to say about the Conservative government because that will get me kicked off YouTube. So this is a more positive one. Now, Here's one that speaks very closely to me. I'll give you a moment to read it. It's all about genes. Now, we know we are all eco-conscious people. We know that genes have a huge footprint, a water footprint, a carbon footprint. All sorts of things they do are not fantastic for the planet. But they do look great on my butt, eh? Eh? So it doesn't really matter, right? As long as you look good, that's cool. That's cool, right? That's cool. Absolutely not. But again, this isn't an individual's fault for buying one pair of jeans that they could have bought secondhand, of course, because secondhand is a great answer. This is looking at the way jeans are produced. These jeans should be made of cotton, so they should be eventually biodegradable, but they should be compostable, but they're not. So I love this here, that the joke, only things that die get into heaven, bummer, pantsless for eternity. So that one choice, and then these genes will live on forever after the damage they've caused, and then they will continue to cause damage to the planet. Now, this is one that was very close to home. I've spoiled the story. Now, if you haven't yet watched the masterclass with Paul Goodenough, if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. It's so good. It's on the YouTube page, and he uses this as an example of how to draw, how to create a comic. Now, my drawing is terrible, so my comic you will see once my daughter Ali has actually drawn it for me. She has the outline, she has that there. So she does have that, don't worry. But I will post this video from Paul into the chat now. So if you feel like watching this comic masterclass with Paul Goodenough, then you absolutely can. It is also on the Instagram page, so feel free to go there. But have a look at this there. It's a wolf speaking to a dog, seeing what's changed, and it mentions that, hey, we got collars. So what's changed? Well, maybe not a lot's changed, but we've got collars. Also, the humans look after us. You can take this both ways. It can be a good thing. It could be a bad thing. It's completely up to you. It's how you appreciate the art. How do you interpret the art? Because art isn't just from the creator. It's also for the beholder. So maybe you think this is a positive thing. Maybe you think it's a negative thing, taking them out of their environment. I'm going to be honest. I'm super glad that we domesticated wolves, because it means I get this huge lump of love all the time. Isn't that right, Estrella? Oh. So this was part one, and this was like, this raised awareness about relisting wolves so they couldn't be hunted anymore. And here we see an image of two hunters, but first the dog has come along just in time to save the wolf and told him to put on a collar. That's the sad fact of it. That if he wasn't wearing a collar, of course, you wouldn't shoot him. There's that thing, isn't there, that I'm an animal lover, when what people often mean by being an animal lover is I really like cute animals because animals are cute. So I like pets like cats and dogs and turtles. But don't worry, we love all animals in this house. Love animals. So let's continue. Let's go and see what Paul is saying, what he's talking about. I'm going to jump over to the interview. Hold up. I'll press play in just a moment. So there are the questions up above. Have a look at those and put your answers into the chat when you are ready. Welcome back to interview time, and I have got an incredible guest. So thank you so much for joining us, Paul. It's wonderful to have you here.
Hey Harry, so good to meet you, and I'm loving the outfit.
Oh, thank you so much. So we've got a few questions for you about art, about change making. So let's start with, what is Rewriting Extinction, and how did you come up with that?
So Rewriting Extinction, for me, truly what I'm trying to do is create fictional stories to reach as many people as possible. sadly, science and facts and activism isn't reaching enough people. So what I do is with my Rewriting Extinction team, we go out and find these issues, these people, these solutions, and these things that the wider world needs to know about, and we fictionalize them. We turn them into a story, and then we push that story out in the place it can do the most good. Often that's social media, often that's short form content like comics. And then without judgment, at the end, if you want to help, here's what you can do. And so that's what Rewriting Extinction is. And that's why I created it.
It's an absolutely wonderful creation. So I'd like to know two questions into one here. And they are, how has it changed your life? And how has it changed the world?
Yeah, so it's changed my life a lot. It has simultaneously been the hardest and most personally damaging thing I've ever done to myself, and also the best. And really, to be honest, truly just sacrificing social life and all those things that I normally would enjoy because there's a bigger thing at play here. And that's to reach as many people as we can with stories. And it really has made a massive, massive difference. As we've had anywhere between 150 and 180 million engagements online. Recently, the UN has agreed to set aside 30% of the oceans as fish-free zones. We drove about a million petition signatures to that. We've also raised $2 million, which is then saved 625 species from extinction. So a lot, really, a lot of really areas. There's a lot's happened.
So there we go. We can see the impact that Rewriting Extinction has had in a really short space of time. So what is it? It's another way of sharing these ideas, because he mentions that, you know, science and activists aren't being listened to, and this is a way of getting these very important stories and ideas into the eyes and the brains and the minds of all sorts of people. And doing that through social media has really helped raise awareness about a lot of issues, and has had some solid results. So has it been good or bad for him? Obviously, he's very honest, and this is something I love about Paul. There are lots of things I love about Paul. He's kind, he's generous, he's doing something for the planet that is brilliant, but he's very honest, and it's been a huge sacrifice for Paul. He's poured his whole life into Rewriting Extinction, because, as he mentions, there's a bigger thing happening here. You know, if he misses his social life with a few people, then he's thinking, so be it, because there's something bigger at hand. And why? Because the million signatures they had have helped the ocean become 30% of the ocean become fishery zones, and also the $2 million they have raised to save 625 species. $2 million from his wonderful comics. And as he mentions, he doesn't draw the comics. He helps facilitate the ideas of the comics. He has the ideas for the comics. He connects people who make these different comics. He's absolutely brilliant. So go and check out Rewriting Extinction right now. That's an order, please, if you would be so kind. And something else that I love that he said is people are free to donate if they want to, but there's no obligation. Same as right here at Renewable English. Free to donate, but no obligation. However, his goes to a far better cause. So if you are going to donate, 100% donate to Rewriting Extinction. So we'll move on to part 2. And this is a simple which word. I'll press play in just a moment. So listen up for these different words. And don't worry, because very soon we're going to be releasing the full interview, so you will be able to see that super soon. So I'm going to move on to the next question, if that's okay. Students might say, I'm not creative or artistic. So how can we encourage them to start using art?
So my suggestion to you, if you think you're not creative, you're probably wrong. You probably are far more creative than you ever know. It just might be that the what you're creative in is in your brain and thinking. For me, as somebody who has very small amounts of actual drawing ability, but I've created, along with the team at Rewriting Extinction, I've created over 250 comics now, and I've drawn exactly zero of them. So meet people, partner, collaborate, find people who you love working with, and work together, and take the best bits of what you're good at doing, take the best bits of what they're good at doing, and make stuff.
So I'd like to know, how can art help inspire people to become change makers?
Art can inspire people to do things that they would never do by reading about it in a textbook. Then all of the history books you could have read about, all of the learnings you might have had at school, art can truly change the planet and change people. And that is what change making is. You know, when a story completely just 180 your view on something, or completely gives you new perspective.
If someone wants to use their art to inspire change, where is a good start?
There's lots and lots of ways that art can make a difference. And I would just encourage you to try as many of them as you can. You know, try and pick up an instrument, a musical instrument, and play. Get your computer out and start writing. Get your pen and paper out and start drawing. Just find what works for you and have some fun. Give Rewriting Extinction a follow. Different artists on there. I'm more than happy to give any free advice, any things I can do to help. I'm just here to help you to your story or to get your art out.
So thank you so much for joining us for today's interview time. And well, a lot more of you, and the students will be, because they will be going directly to follow Rewriting Extinction. So there you go. Let's check out what these answers are, and then we've got a couple of little challenges for you for obviously straight after or whenever you like. So I think if you think you're not creative, I've seen a mistake I've made there. If you think you're not creative, you're wrong. He said you're probably wrong. He talks about lots of different ways of being creative. He even helped me realise how I'm most creative. It was very, very insightful. It felt like he was looking into my soul. Brilliant. Art can truly change the planet or world. Forget the carbon footprint of sports. That's a typo. Good job, Harry. Well done. He says it can truly change the planet, but of course it can also change the world. The words in this case are interchangeable. And the last one, just find what works for you. Now, I love this idea. This is something I try, a virtue I extol, something I talk about always. Try and just do what you love. Don't do what somebody else tells you to do. Don't do what others suggest you do. Do what makes you feel good. You know, you can see Alethea, my daughter, is working on a campaign on something that makes her feel good, something that she can do and make a difference with. Don't try and change things you're not interested in changing, or you will burn out. I'm interested in helping others understand the climate crisis, so that's what I do, that's what I love, and it stops me from burning out. So the challenge now is a 2-minute tweet. You can put it on Twitter if you want to, or you can simply send it to us at Renewable English, harry@renewableenglish.com, or chuck it on an instant message on Instagram, on a DM. And that's just, how do you think art can change the world? What do you think? Here are Ali's thoughts. This is Ali's kind of 2-minute tweet.
Throughout history, art has helped make issues of social justice visible. Don't let that stop now. If you want to share your message, go out there and do it. The whole world is waiting.
So there you go. That was Ali. That's what she had to say. We can see Estrella has gone to sleep now. She's truly bored of my conversation. So Ali mentioning, just go and do it. Just get out there and do it. Do what you want to do. And even if you're not going to share it with other people, just have fun doing it. Draw for yourself if you want to. Here's an extra challenge, something I'm working on with my classes. We're making upcycled protest art. We're finding our passion and getting creative with it. We are on there, they're using images. The younger class are using images of the ocean on their plant pots that they're making. And the older class have chosen something they are passionate about. So there's one that's making it about a penguin, one that's making it about too many chickens. So all of the groups are making it about something different. So why not have a go at making some upcycled art? If you're not sure what upcycled art is, check out the Instagram page. There's loads of examples on there. And that, everybody, is just about that. So don't forget, give us a follow, like if you want, subscribe, press the bell so you can come back in 2 weeks' time. And if you would like to, of course, feel free to donate. But as I mentioned, first, head on over to Rewriting Extinction. Now, that is about that for today. Is there anything anyone would like to say? Feel free. Speak now or forever hold your peace. We will be back in 2 weeks on the 23rd of June. The 23rd of June is a very special day because it is Alethea's birthday, my daughter, and it also happens to be the first day of her campaign that she is releasing in an effort to pick up 1 million pieces of litter in 1 year. So between her 10th and 11th birthday, she aims to reach 1 million pieces of plastic litter, and she's going to need your help. Our fantastic war tank, you love art. I'm really glad that you came along. I'm super glad that you came along. I hope that you got something from it. Please come along to all of our lessons. It will be fantastic to see more of you. Thank you everybody for coming along. Remember to share this so people can have a look afterwards as well. Hit the bell, and I will see you all very, very, very soon.